We are live right now. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to do our intro. Everyone sound okay? Do I sound okay? I'm just going to assume I do.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Okay. So it's 10:56. Okay. All right. 3, 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the December 20th installment of the Go with the Flow podcast. We have returned after a little bit of a hiatus. It's a little crazy, all the stuff going on in our lives. As always, joined by my line mates, Dan Merritts and Kevin Bartman. Fellas, what's going on?
What's up, boys?
How's it
Long
going,
time
everybody?
no see.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's good to be back.
We got real life stuff that kind of got in the way. We're still trying to find a day that works and get this thing rolling weekly. We do enjoy doing it, and I know I can speak for all three of us by saying we didn't enjoy taking a couple weeks off, but we had stuff, such as, college exams, or depending on who you are in this group, or, work and holiday events and stuff like that. So we're wishing everybody at home a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you choose to celebrate. But we're going to start it off, I think, our return episode here. We're gonna start over in Long Island, which is now going to be home to a hockey team again. Rest in peace to the Brooklyn era of hockey. Today, or yesterday on Tuesday, it was announced that the New York Islanders arena bid in Belmont Park in New York was the winner over a bid by New York City FC and MLS team to get a professional soccer stadium. So the Islanders, who play in just an absolute shit show of an arena right now, we can, roast them on the details of that. But this new arena is going to be great. It's going to be a huge upgrade on what they used to play in the Coliseum, and a serious upgrade on the Barclays Center as far as hockey goes, because this arena will be made for hockey, but also for other events. So this place is going to have 150 events a year. It's going to sit 18,000 people. I mean, it's going to have 435,000 square feet of retail space as well. I haven't seen anything about what the price tag is on this thing, but boys, your thoughts on the Islanders going back to Long Island, leaving Brooklyn, and maybe, what are the John Tavares implications of this? Because, he's a looming free agent, and I mean, playing in a new arena has got to be a lot more enticing to stay than playing in Barclays.
Sure. Yeah, I think, just about every hockey fan knows how bad, Barclays is with the, the Jumbotron being off center, the stupid Honda Odyssey or Ridgeline or whatever the hell that piece of crap car is sitting in the corner. And there's, a section of the entire 100 level is completely missing. So it's just not, it's fine that the net, that it's a basketball arena and it stays as that. And the Islanders need their own arena. So I'm glad that they're finally getting kind of the arena that they deserve, especially, their fans deserve. So, it's good to see that they'll finally be moving into an arena that really suits the hockey atmosphere and the passionate fans, the passionate Islanders fans. As far as Tavares goes, that's kind of that's definitely an interesting thing. Playing in a brand new arena, maybe bringing back some Islanders fans to the fold that left because of the crappy situation in Barclays Center. So it'd be interesting to see what Tavares, does. Does he decide to stay? Does he decide to go? Obviously I have no idea, but it just throws, just another ingredient, I guess, or something, just throws another thing into what he needs to consider for the future of his career.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really say enough bad things about the Barclays Center or whatever, Barclays, yeah. Going off Nick's point, it's kind of, designed for, like, Nets games and then everything else, and then the Islanders were an afterthought. And then now with this new, renovation plans, it's kind of a 180 where, like, the Islanders are the main priority, and it gives them a lot of momentum, especially, it doesn't hurt that they're playing some really, really good hockey right now. I think they're, at least the last time I checked, they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. They finally got some wings to go on either side of John Tavares, and it makes it that much more interesting that the fact that he is going to be a free agent soon, because he's due for a big payday. And, it's all up to him. Will he go, will he go north of Toronto? Where will he go? It'll be really interesting to see. Personally, I think he's kind of built himself into, he's building himself into a legend in the Islanders franchise. So I'd want him to see him stay. But, obviously I don't speak on his behalf. So it'll be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome if he stuck around as well. Right now, they're kind of sitting right in the thick of it in the Metro. Last night, kind of dropped a tough one to Detroit, who isn't doing too badly themselves. Surprisingly, I thought they'd be a lot worse. But the Islanders really just need some goaltending. Halak and Grice just aren't getting the job done right now. I mean, it's about as simple as you can put it. I mean, if they had just even average goaltending with, the scoring output they've had so far, they'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, a new arena is going to bring in a lot more revenue, and I think the Islanders ownership is going to be a lot more inclined to spend the money on Tavares because he's worth every penny. I mean, he's Johnny Franchise, man, and like you said, Kev, he's got the wingers to go around him right now, so they've got a nice little foundation. It'd just be interesting to see what that team would be like if they got some goaltending. And obviously with some of the teams, the caliber they are, I mean, Pittsburgh's off to a slower start. I'm sure we all agree they'll be fine, but Columbus is a good team. The Rangers are a good team. Washington's a good team. New Jersey's been kind of a surprise. They're in a tough division, but it's going to be hard for me to see Tavares leaving. I mean, he's kind of helped. He's been there a long time. He's kind of seen something get built up. And, I mean, the Islanders have gone to the playoffs a couple times, and that, the one year they beat Florida in the first round, and they've kind of worked really hard to kind of get where they are right now. And now they're getting a new arena, and I feel like Tavares might want to stick around there and see it through. And, with a new arena and you're not playing in if you're not playing in a dump like Nassau or that, it had seen better days, than the last few years Tavares played there. And, Brooklyn, I mean, maybe the Islanders with Tavares in a new arena and being in the New York market is an attractive free agent destination as well. So I think he's going to stick around, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone likes to throw Toronto out there, but, they kind of got their own forwards going. I think maybe Tavares as a competitor kind of just wants to see this thing through over in Long Island now that they're going to be back there.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick, I agree with the both of you. I hope he stays too. Just like you were saying, he's the franchise guy. It'd be nice to see him stick it out. And, I mean, he's done, loads for that franchise. It would just be really nice to see him in the new building, kind of a fresh look, if you will. So I really hope he stays. I think it just would be perfect for the franchise and their fans. So.
Yeah, just from the outside looking in, it's pretty admirable what the franchise is doing because, like what Nick said at the beginning, they're adding all this retail space and all this different shit that you can do at this, complex that they're building, and they're making it into a place where fans are going to want to go see a hockey game, and players are going to want to be in a place like that. And just like Nick said, that's going to attract free agents in the future. So, on the chance that Tavares stays, I feel like their trajectory is only going to go up from here.
Let's pause it there. Dan, what's the time? Because I think it's a good time to transition to Seattle. It's probably been like 5 minutes, maybe 10.
We're 8 minutes 49 seconds in.
Okay, hang on.
8 minutes 49 seconds.
This would be a good time to go into expansion for Seattle because we're talking about arenas and stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck. I gotta go to our. I don't upload Twitter. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
Find this. Trying to find this. Seattle. What was the ruling with Seattle? They might test for tickets and all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, it was like nothing's a guarantee, but there's a possibility or something like that.
Well, I thought it was they got approved to have an NHL team there.
Okay.
The Seattle Council voted 7-1 to approve a $660 million Key Arena MOU package. And then I don't know what MOU is. Moment of or something of understanding.
Memorandum
Of understanding.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then it clears the way for a new arena by 2020. So then maybe we can transition to that. All right, I got it. All right, Dan, what's the time, Dan, that we're about to start at?
We at 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. And with these new arenas, fuck. All right, that's shitty. Okay. All right, hold on. 3. Sorry. It's awful. Fuck. All right. It's been a few weeks. All right. 3, 2, 1. And speaking of new arenas as well, obviously good to see the Islanders returning to Long Island, but it looks like Seattle is a serious candidate to be the next expansion franchise in the NHL. Obviously, we have Vegas, who has come out of the gates red hot this year as the 31st NHL team. And within the last couple weeks, Seattle Council approved a $660 million memorandum of understanding, as well as helping clear the way for a new arena for NHL hockey at Seattle Center by 2020. Seattle's obviously been clamoring to get an NBA franchise back since the Seattle Supersonics left and went to Oklahoma City. But so potentially maybe there's something that could be brewing there with, an NBA, NHL dual type thing going. But your guys' overall thoughts on hockey in Seattle. And we've also seen a couple owners make some interesting comments recently, with the Flames a couple months ago, their owners saying that they're not exploring new arena options in Calgary. And the Ottawa Senators owner, Eugene Melnyk, saying he hasn't ruled out relocation. So I'm pretty sure Seattle gets a team. It's going to be an expansion team. And I think the NHL is going to try to avoid relocation at all costs, but you're hearing rumors about the Flames to Houston or Ottawa moving out. And, you have a lot of places that want hockey. Quebec City's starving for a team, but Seattle kind of makes sense as far as the conferences go, as far as the, to kind of even out the conferences, I think, as well as it's kind of in a spot where they can have a natural rivalry with San Jose or even Vancouver, because they probably obviously play in the Pacific. I mean, I'd hope they play in the Pacific, but yeah, thoughts on Seattle? Maybe throw out a couple team names out there, something.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say exactly what you said. Geographically, Seattle makes sense with the West having less teams in the East. I'm just wondering if they would reorganize the Western Conference, though, a little bit, because then both Vegas and Seattle would be in the Pacific Division, and you would still have, 7 teams in the Central still? So I think it would be 9 in the Pacific and then 7 in the Central. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know who would move, but maybe somebody moves from the Pacific to the Central just to make it 7 and 7, and there's no imbalance. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting
8
hearing.
8 and 8, Dan. 8 and 8, Dan.
8 and 8. Okay, I'm sorry. But the other cities you mentioned, I mean, Quebec was in the kind of in the running when Vegas was vying for a spot, and I know they've been dying for a team ever since the Nordiques left and went to Colorado. Houston for me is kind of the oddball one that kind of came out of nowhere. Dallas, but I mean, you just don't think. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of big cities, but you don't think hockey there. But I think they need to do Seattle or somewhere in Canada again, because we've kind of had these off market expansions. Vegas obviously being the most recent, and then potentially Seattle. I think somewhere like Quebec would be pretty great too. It's just that you would throw the conference is kind of out of whack if Quebec possibly got one as well. But for me, Seattle's pretty cool. I remember reading about Seattle a few years ago in like USA Hockey Magazine, how the youth program is actually like really tremendous out there, and it's really well done, which I had no idea just a few years ago that Seattle had, a base for hockey. And then, like you said, there's the potential for a Seattle-Vancouver rivalry because they're, just a few hours away, if that. So for me, it's really interesting stuff. And I, like you guys, I'm sure you'd agree, I always like seeing the game grow. Damn.
It's a good sports town too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like when you first throw around city names or cities that would be good for an expansion team, like I initially thought that Seattle would not be very good, but the more I thought about it, Seattle's a pretty electric sports market, given what their current sports situation is. They have the Seahawks that are, pretty successful recently. I got with the Supersonics, they got kind of that taken right from under them, and that's pretty passionate fan base. They're still pretty salty about that team leaving for Oklahoma City. So obviously,
but their MLS team even draws like crazy.
Yeah, you're right. And then I guess there's the Mariners, but we won't talk about that. But anywho, like you see with pretty much all their teams that have been there, they have a pretty passionate fan base. So, and then like you said, Dan, it makes sense just with the geographic location, and it would better align the divisions and the conferences. So, that they got approved. So it makes more sense than, like you said, Nick, what was it? Calgary to Houston. I don't know how that would happen in a million years.
You know what?
But
like, who thought Vegas would work? It looks like it's working because it's working right now because the team's playing well. So the locals are coming. I mean, I think the tourists were always going to come, but it's giving the locals a reason to fill in the extra seats right now. So, I mean, it just seems like every expansion, team that's happened, or, it's pretty much every expansion team has been. Let's think of a warm climate, we can go to or something, or a lot of the relocations. And I think it was, 2000, they did Minnesota and Columbus, which aren't like Sun Belt teams, but I mean, you've got teams in relocating to Carolina and Atlanta and all these places, and got a team in Nashville. And I mean, some of these places have actually been a good success, like, Tampa and Nashville and stuff. So, and now look at Vegas. So, I mean, that's why Houston comes up, because it's the fourth largest city, in the United States. People forget that. But, I mean, it's the fourth largest city, and they don't have a team. And the NHL has had success in some warm weather climates. Obviously, Carolina's not drawing real well. They're also in last place. Huge disappointment. We might get to that later. But, and obviously the Coyotes have had ownership issues and attendance struggles in the past. But yeah, the Flames to Houston, that's not going to happen. Like that just can't happen.
No.
I mean,
I would. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, man. Like I just can't see that happening. I just think Seattle will be an awesome fan base. And I mean, you're going to get a brand spanking new arena. The fans are hungry to have another sports team in town. I think if you ask most of the people up there, they probably want the Sonics back before an NHL team. It's just a hunch I have, but I think they would really get behind an NHL team. And
absolutely,
it's a different place to have a team, and it makes sense geographically.
Also, having an outdoor game at what's it called, CenturyLink, that would be unreal.
Oh, this past outdoor game was so stupid, by the way. But I think Dan had something to say. Dan had something to say.
I could. No, I think as far as Houston goes, I think it potentially could be interesting because, like you said, there have been some southern markets that have worked really well, and they've won Stanley Cups in the past. It's not so much, and I'm glad the Flames thing, like we're saying, it's not in a million years. And even if it was a thing, it doesn't bother me that it wouldn't bother me that Houston had a team. It would bother me that the Flames would be leaving Calgary, if that makes sense.
Exactly. If Carolina there, if Carolina or
Arizona
aren't drawing at all went there, I would then Canada's hockey, and they got 17.
Exactly.
You lose one.
Exactly. People do forget though that the Flames started in Atlanta, and not actually they were the Atlanta Flames, and they had a big old A instead of a C. So
yeah,
just a little fun fact. But
also,
they used the Atlanta A for their assistant captain,
Yes, they do. There you
Also, while we're on it, speaking of expansion and Canadian teams, what do you guys think about Ottawa? I think it was their owner recently. He made some remarks about how relocation is not out of the realm of possibility. I think that's very interesting because, like, their arena was empty during the playoffs last year.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys ever seen that.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I don't think they sold out any of the games.
Which is
and you're a
so
Chris
weird.
Conan fluky ass goal away from going to the Cup. I mean,
I hated that.
And you're not
like
goal. What if they went to? You imagine if they're a Canadian team and they weren't selling out the Cup final? I mean, seriously?
I just don't understand how their nations. I just don't get how, like, it's your, you always hear, oh, it's our sport, and then, like you just said, this team's a goal away from going to the Cup final, the thing they haven't done since 2007, I think, against the Ducks, and they can't even sell out. Like, that just it's so confusing to me how that doesn't.
They have this guy, this Swedish defenseman too. I'm struggling to think of his name. He's worth. He might be worth the price of admission.
Johnny Oduya.
Is it?
God damn, Kevin.
That was perfect.
Clayson, I think, is who you're thinking of. Oh wait, no, it's fucking Eric Carlson. The guy is dirt nasty, best flow in the league, 200-foot defenseman, changes the game in both ways. And if their owner stops being, a stupid ass, then he might consider staying there, but he might be gone. But while we're on Ottawa, and Kevin threw out that thing about the idea of a Winter Classic or maybe a Stadium Series game. That's a fun one the NHL does. Get a little Stadium Series game in there.
Yeah.
Ottawa and Montreal just played an outdoor game in Ottawa, and I was actually talking about this with my dad, and I said, I don't like these Heritage Classics or these like this was a Centennial Classic because it was it's the 100th year of the NHL, and here's why. The CFL, Canadian Football League, is just not even close to being on par with the revenue and the likability and the fandom of the NFL. And like the early like outdoor games in the NHL were so scenic, and they all had like charisma, and they all just had a special allure to them. Like you had games at Wrigley Field and Fenway Park and just all these like Yankee Stadium, and you had the outdoor game at the Big House in Ann Arbor was awesome. And there is no outdoor facility in Canada that is anywhere close to having any of the mystique that any of the American baseball and football stadiums have. These CFL stadiums, they just are these bland outdoor stadiums that can fill a decent amount of people, and then it's, guys just freeze their asses off. That game looked really cold, and for as cold as it was, that ice was so shitty. There was a lot of shit.
Yes, it looked so bad.
It wasn't even, and it was an awful game. And I think part of it was because of the ice. Like Montreal has problems scoring, and obviously they've got Carey Price, so that those games are always, can kind of be a crapshoot as far as excitement goes, to be quite honest. I mean, you've seen them play the Rangers in the playoffs. They're not the most thrilling games, but these outdoor games now are just getting so bland, and I think throwing these games up in Canada is just not fun. Like I would rather it's just a game, it's just a rink outside. Like you got to have something more there. Like there's just no mystique with these Canadian stadiums. Sorry, Canada, but you don't have a Wrigley Field or a Fenway or anywhere to have these games. I'm sorry.
I think you're 100% correct on that. I think the other problem is that they've just added too many now in a given season, and it's sort of lost its novelty, I guess, because before it was literally just one game
in same fucking
per
team.
year. You had one of the first ones was Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and then you had the Hawks losing to Detroit at Wrigley, and you had, like you just said, Fenway and all that, and now you've added so many, and there was the 1 year, there were like 4 of them, and then you've got like San Jose playing LA at Levi, which is kind of weird, and LA and Anaheim playing at Dodger Stadium. I mean, that's cool. That's fine. but the sheer volume of them, it went from like 1 to maybe 2, and then all of a sudden it was like 4. I feel like, and then you add on these Heritage Classics, and
the Hawks are about to
just,
host. The Hawks are about to host.
I'm so done.
Their third separate outdoor game.
I'm so done with them.
They've already done Wrigley. I was actually in attendance for the Soldier Field game, and now they're going to host one at Notre Dame.
See, that actually could be cool. I'm just so sick of them playing outside because they lose every damn time. They've won one game, and it was against Pittsburgh.
Here's my one gripe with the outdoor games. This might be a unpopular opinion, but like, so one of the main things for having them is like, oh, it's supposed to, remind them of what it was like to, play pond hockey when they were kids and take them back to the old days like that. However, I feel like the whole experience really doesn't represent that at all. Like, watching a game at fucking, like you said, Levi Stadium, an outdoor game, it does not give me that vibe of like, oh, playing pond hockey when you're a kid. It feels really forced. And just like you said, the sheer volume of how many games there are, it's just shoving it down our throats, and it's quite annoying. Like if I had it my way, they go to some random ass rink in like bumfuck Canada and just play hockey. Like no fans, just they televise it. Might be a dumb idea. I thought it'd be pretty cool.
Well, and
Mystery Alaska, except without the boards.
Yeah. Well, now you even have Heinz Field, I think, is hosted or is hosting. I'm trying to think. Because they had the one where remember when Crosby got the concussion? That was like where that concussion thing came from. Was he got hurt?
He's had like a million concussions.
He got hurt in the outdoor game, and he I don't know if he came back in or whatever it was, but we even had the same stadium now host. Like
yeah, hasn't Heinz Field had multiple?
That's what I'm saying. Heinz Field, right? Haven't they?
Was it that Winter Classic? I forgot who the fuck they're playing.
Washington, where Crosby got the concussion.
Was that when it went to a shootout?
No.
Weren't they playing
Buffalo?
Weren't they playing the Caps when he got the concussion?
Yes.
Or am I
Washington?
Right? He got like blindsided.
Yes, and then Philly and Pittsburgh have played at Heinz as well.
Okay.
Stupid.
But if Philly and Pittsburgh play each other, I'm going, why wouldn't you go play at like Penn State? Like go play Beaver State. Go play in front of 100,000.
I don't think kids will want to go to that one.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
This podcast just went to a very, very dark place.
Anyways.
I was going to say Yankee Stadium's held 2, and they held 2 in 1 week.
In fairness, the rink was set up already, and they've got 3 teams. They've got 3 teams there in a very close vicinity. Yeah. That one I'll let slide. But Pittsburgh,
that makes sense.
Hosting 2 at the same stadium when we're all big baseball fans, Cub fans, and the Pirates are in the Cubs division, and we know how beautiful PNC Park is. PNC would be an awesome venue to have a game at, but they had to do 2 at Heinz Field. But I think that's enough talk about outdoor games. God.
Well, one more thing. Like,
I guess
this isn't about an outdoor game, but like I was saying about how it gives you like that, how the outdoor games are supposed to, give you that old time feel like you're, playing pond hockey or whatever. I think what the NHL does nicely is the exhibition games, the preseason games that are in like the small town, just like small hockey rinks. I think that's a really good idea. Those are really fun to watch, and especially if you're lucky enough to go to one, I think that'd be really cool too, because in a million years, you wouldn't expect to go to your local hockey rink that seats maybe 1,000, 2,000 people and watch an NHL hockey game.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, let's catch our breaths.
All right.
Where are we?
28:44.
Really? I thought we were going a lot longer.
28:44. I thought we were too. I thought we were already at like 35 minutes or something like that.
Fuck. What else do we have to talk about?
Well, we got with the what the puck, and then we can talk about the Hawks and their winning streak that they got going.
What's a corny lead-in?
To what?
I don't know. The Blackhawks are. I don't know.
Fuck, I don't know.
We should just say shifting gears.
Yeah, I was just gonna say shifting gears.
Shifting gears.
Line change.
Yeah, I want to just roast. What the fuck is going on outside? Jesus. Sorry. Could you hear any of that?
You guys want to talk about Torts being a dick in that press conference?
Oh, just leaving?
Yes.
If you
Did he
want.
really? I missed that. I love when Torch just leaves things.
They got smoked, and he's like, I don't even know what to say. Like, good night.
I love Torch.
Want to talk about that, Kevin? Maybe you do the lead-in for this one. I don't know. I think you got it.
All right, yeah, I'll go for it.
Do a little Torts talk.
A little torch talk. I like that.
Torch talk.
I'll get into it, and then you guys can dive into it.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
You can just go into thoughts about it. Yeah, just give them the time, and we'll good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We are at 30 minutes 20 seconds.
All right, I'm ready. All right, 3, 2, 1. And shifting gears a little bit, one of the funnier little tidbits that we saw recently was John Tortorella, one of the more polarizing head coaches in the National Hockey League. He went to a post-game.
Brooksy, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Went to a post-game press conference and stood there for about 7 seconds until he just left the whole media room hanging. So I thought that was a little funny.
You blue balled them so good.
What do you guys think about that?
They were waiting to get a quote. Oh man, that was a classic.
I love it.
That was. He showed a lot of restraint.
What was the score of that game though? That was they let up a touchdown, right?
7-2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And then he's like, "Fuck you! I'm not talking to you guys."
Yeah. Oh, and he was probably pissed because it was to Edmonton, who's still rotting in sixth place or whatever in the Pacific, whatever they are right now. I mean, playing better, but I mean, it's hard to play worse than what they were playing in the beginning of the year. I mean, they weren't Coyotes bad going 21 games or whatever it was without a win. But yeah, the Torts thing was pretty awesome. I mean, these guys are just sitting there waiting for quotes, and Torts is a colorful guy, and I don't think he always comes in with cliches, but these guys are on deadline and they're trying to write a story and get some analysis, and maybe them thinking themselves, how the hell did this team lose at home 7-2? And he just kind of goes up there and he just blue balls them. It was pretty awesome, and I like Torts. I mean, he can be kind of a dick, but I would say that it really wouldn't be funny if you did it every single time. He's usually a good quote, and he's gotten a lot better and kind of chilled on his anger management and shit like that. But I think a one-time thing is pretty funny, how he just straight up refused to dissect how his team got their ass kicked. I thought it was funny as a one-time thing for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it. Yeah, he's one of my.
I think it's almost better that fans realize that coaches don't always want, especially when you let up 7 goals, they don't want to go up there and just dish out quotes for 30 minutes after a game. So as Hawks fans, we've seen Quenneville do it too. He's been fielding questions and he's just been like, what, I can't take this. That's mainly the result of questionable ref officiating, but anywho, we've seen it done before. So I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. It means that he cares, obviously.
I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like him, but for the exact reasons that you guys just said, he's a character and whatnot, and he's passionate, and I think it's fucking. And he does. He picks his moments. It's not every time, so he gives you just enough, like this one, where it makes you laugh, and it's not like, oh god, Torrella's acting up again. It's rare enough to where it's fucking funny.
He's had so many gems. There was one that was
he does
really funny. Well, obviously the Brooksy one, Larry Brooks, where he told the guy to
so many.
Get the hell he says get the fuck out of the scrum or whatever, I think was his quote. It was pretty funny. Okay, Brooksy, no one likes you, no one cares about your opinion.
Then he look at him. He goes, "I guess it looks like you were picked on as a kid, or something like that." Or I bet you were picked on as a kid. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And he had no response to it. He goes, "Good, so get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. And then there was another when I think he was in Tampa, and he goes, "I'm getting real sick of the 25% rule around here." And he's talking about their goaltending. He's just like, "I'm getting real sick of the 25% rule here." You know, like.
Oh
It was
my God, he's fucking funny.
So many quotes, dude. Guy's an absolute legend.
It's always with Brooksy when he was in New York.
Oh,
Nobody liked him. Danny Boyle didn't like him either, though. He came in the locker room and Danny Boyle was like, "Can we have this guy out of here? Like, I don't like you. Nobody likes you. Just get out."
right. Yeah, good stuff. Good old Torts. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Kevin. That's always good for a laugh with Torts. But you had mentioned Quenneville being fiery. Obviously, he grabbed his nutsack at the route.
People forget.
Against St. Louis in an all-time epic meltdown. The Blackhawks are playing well. Our Blackhawk. Hate to do it, but they're one of the hotter teams in the league, and we've covered them ad nauseum on this podcast. Sorry, they're the local squad. They're who the boys root for, but Corey Crawford is playing out
unreal
of his
just stupid
mind. He's given up 7 goals in this 5-game winning streak the Blackhawks are on.
Hasn't lost in a month.
Yeah, there were 3 games. Yeah, that's true. There were 3 games the Blackhawks, the first 3 games of this winning streak, the Chicago Blackhawks had no business winning. They played awful against Buffalo, Arizona, and there was another team they were losing to.
Florida. Or they didn't play well against Florida.
Florida.
They didn't. Yeah,
it was Florida. Yeah, and then they've done really well. They did really well against at Winnipeg, and Winnipeg hadn't lost like a home game in about a month. When the Hawks went up there, put up a 5 spot on, beat them 5-1. And then this past Dallas, they played real well.
And the Wild.
So, did I say Dallas? I meant the Wild. They have Dallas on Thursday.
They have Dallas.
They got Dallas.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Well, people forget Minnesota is the Old North Stars, but
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. But so guys, thoughts on the Blackhawks? Jordan Osterley's kind of stepped up, been a good defenseman for them. With Franzen and Rutta, who got hurt against Florida, checking out of the lineup.
Hinostroza came up and has been making an impact right away.
I love that he came up.
And
I was really up.
Patrick Sharp is looking like he's going to be a healthy scratch on Thursday, and Panic, who just signed, 2-year deal for about $4.5 million or so. I think he makes 2.2 a year or 2.3. He's been healthy scratch. So Quenneville is kind of sending a message to some vets and some guys, but the third group's looking real good. And holy shit, are Patrick Kane and Nick Schmaltz. They've got freaking ESP. They got ESP, man.
It's like every game now, almost. I don't know. They're just it's so entertaining watching them, especially the last 2 against Winnipeg and the Wild because they're division rivals, and they've kind of been struggling this year against division rivals. They lost to Nashville, lost to Dallas twice, once in the shootout and once in overtime. These are important matchups that matter at the end of the year when everybody's clumped up in the points. So it's really nice. Personally, it's really nice for me to see them beat up on the Wild because I go to school in Minnesota and I have so many friends that are Wild fans. But it's just so entertaining watching Schmaltz and Kane. The passes that Schmaltzy is making to Kane are just obnoxious. Like the no-look blind pass against Winnipeg. I think even Kane was surprised. Like, you just made that pass and all I had to do was put it in the net. Like, that's stupid. And kind of historically we've seen Kane when Panarin was back on Hawks, it was kind of Kane setting up Panarin for these goals, and now it's somebody else setting up Kane. And then the Osterley stretch pass against the Wild it's really good to see the defense getting, kind of actively involved in the offense and whatnot again. And like we were saying, Crawford is just night in and night out. He's an absolute stud. I don't know how you can't. Especially some about this year, especially I don't know how you can't. I don't know how you can hate the guy. He's doing everything under the sun to give the Hawks a chance to win, regardless of how the team actually plays.
Yeah, there's always like this. I don't know if you guys noticed this in recent years, but there's always this kind of narrative that, Crawford only looked good because he had such a good team in front of him. But like, despite that, even during then, he's just been playing, as a easily top 5 goalie in the league. And I think right now you can't really dispute that he's the best goalie in hockey so far this year.
Candidate.
In my humble opinion.
I don't give a shit. I'm a Blackhawks fan. He's absolutely a Vezina candidate. Absolutely.
He's the Vezina front runner right now. I mean, it's very early, but he's playing lights out. Like we said, the Hawks have a very manageable stretch of games coming up. You got, like you said, Dallas, then New Jersey, I believe, and then you got a stretch of 3 or 4 games in Canada.
Jersey, no.
Huh?
Jersey ain't easy though. They ain't the old Devils.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like I said, it's still a manageable stretch of games because especially with that stretch of Canada teams,
for sure,
they're nothing to really be worried about. So
the Blackhawks season would already be over without Corey Crawford. The way they got off to start the year, there was a lot of games, and there were even on this winning streak, there were 3 out of the 5 games really had no business winning, and you get good goaltending, and the Blackhawks are never going to be out of this season. And if they get in the playoffs, they're never going to be out of any series or any game because the way this guy's playing, if he can keep it up, he gives them a chance to win every game. And the Hawks' big guns haven't stepped up in the playoffs the past couple years. But Corey Crawford's going to give them every chance to the point where if you just get me 1 or 2, like I can win you the game. Like all I need you guys to do is just go get a couple. You don't need to be world beaters. You don't need to light it up out there. But if you guys can just get a couple, if you can just pot a couple, we're going to be good. And another thing that locally, that we heard around the Blackhawks, Bartman was talking about the narrative of, the team being really good in front of them. There were a lot of people who were saying, Darling, when he took over for a few games in that National Series, could Scott Darling be the guy, because Corey Crawford's expensive and Darling could be a cheaper option in goalie and provide, be serviceable for them because the Blackhawks are a cap ceiling team and they need every dollar of savings that they can. But the thing I always said was I was never sold if Scott Darling was a 55, 60 game starter. He's a really good backup, a luxury to have as a backup, but you're seeing the way he's playing right now in Carolina, and they're a last place team, and they had a lot of expectations, and they have some talented forwards. It's looking like Stan Bowman certainly made the right call, and I was always on you 100% got to keep Corey Crawford trained. Like I never even thought for a second that you would go to Darling full time, but I hope enough people who have followed the Blackhawks kind of see what Scott Darling. We wish Scotty the best. He's an awesome guy. One of the best dudes in hockey going right now. Hope he kind of rights the ship, and hopefully Carolina wins a few more games. But the Hawks no doubt made the right choice, keeping the better goaltender. He's worth the extra $2 million a year, 100%.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He's a damn Vezina candidate, or if not, the front runner right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we don't win those 2 cups in 2013, 2015 without Darling, but we also don't win them without Crawford. Darling, we saw him step up when when we needed him, but at the end of the day, Crawford just played lights out when it mattered, and that's what's his. He's making like what, $6 million? It was like a 6x6 deal.
It's $6 million. I think he's 6'5". He might be 6. Yeah, he might be 6.
6 for 6. It was 6 for 6 because Bickle was 4 for 4. They both got signed, and it was deals like that.
Yeah, and I don't know when that.
Would you rather pay Crawford 6 or would you rather pay Carey Price what he's getting?
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know how much longer the contract is for, but you're getting Crawford for I don't know how much longer, but at $6 million a year, and then compared to fucking the $10+ million that Carey Price is making,
it's
ridiculous.
But it's for just about the same level of goaltending. So
Crow's what, 31 too? So a lot of people would go, well, he's 31. How many more years does he have left? And obviously, I'm sure Ranger fans are a little iffy on how much longer Lundqvist, King Hank can be for King Henrik can be for them. But but I think the thing with Crawford too is he didn't come up at 21, 22 years old for the Hawks. He was like 25, 26 when he really solidified a active roster spot where he knew he was going to be sticking around when he kind of first came up. So he doesn't really have the mileage on him that a lot of goalies that are as good as him would have at this age, because he's kind of a late bloomer when it comes to his development. So I'm thinking Crawford's got another really good 4 years in him at least.
I think he does too, because I remember when the Hawks, like when the core was kind of first starting up, Crawford would come up like once, twice a year, and then he'd get sent right back down. And I actually got to watch him when the Hawks played the Flyers, and they had their old, I still remember, they had their old black unis on, and like Mark Bell was on the team. Like, if that gives you a reference. I think Jeremy Roenick was still playing, possibly too. I was really young, and Crawford was just starting in the league. But yeah, I get it. He's getting older, but he definitely doesn't have the early mileage that a lot of these other goalies, Rene, Price, Lundqvist, he doesn't have that on him. So hopefully he can keep this going. I can definitely see him, Nick, like you said 4 years. I could easily see that. Yeah, I could see him just playing his ass off for those 4 years and potentially giving us, another.
Holy shit! I got to interrupt.
This decade's out.
I got to interrupt. Vegas just won the game against Tampa at home. 3 seconds left. Goal by Shea Theodore.
Damn.
Vegas is so sick. Oh my god.
Electric.
I made fun of that roster when that got drafted. I'm the first to admit it.
I did too. I feel like maybe we all did.
I just thought they were going to be a bunch of well-coached misfit toys that would play well, play hard every night, but probably come up short. Is what was my concise opinion, because I really like Gallant. Really, really liked Gerard Gallant. I think he got a total raw deal in Florida. But man, James Neal's playing huge for them. William Karlsson is unbelievable for them right now. He's super young. Great flow, by the way, on that guy. Theodore's a nice blue line chip they can have going forward, and we'll see what Fleury's got for him. But they got some decent defensemen like Schmidt and Theodore, and a lot of these forwards like Marchessault. I feel like they got to pay Marchessault, right? Like, you can't let that guy walk. Or I feel like Edmonton's going to scoop that guy up in about 3 minutes into free agency, if not 30 seconds in free agency, if that extension doesn't happen. Vegas is the real deal. They're playoff bound, guys. I don't think that's too bold of a take. I think they might even finish second in that division.
Dude, they're sitting pretty right now. They're sitting.
Yeah,
pretty.
They are.
They're
especially with the way that
6
Edmonton
points on
and Calgary
the
kind of
Sharks.
lollygagging.
Yeah, exactly.
They just beat Tampa, who I think, fair to say, is the best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They're so good at home. Vegas is really good at home. I will go as far as saying they might even win a playoff round this year.
That would be so awesome, actually.
If they have home ice advantage, that'd
be incredible.
And
Dude, imagine the strip in a playoff.
Oh my
setting.
gosh, that would be stupid.
Dude, the Western Conference this year might have Winnipeg and Las Vegas with home ice advantage, guys. You talk about atmosphere.
That's
like terrifying. But yeah, the atmosphere. I miss Winnipeg. They only played 4 games so far in the playoffs, but those 4 games the 2 that were in Winnipeg were awesome in terms of atmosphere.
Yes, except the Winnipeg game against Anaheim, the corniest hockey chant that has ever occurred was Katy Perry at Corey Perry. Probably one of the saddest attempts at intimidation and that I've ever seen in my life was probably them
that kind of blew.
Chanting Katy Perry. You think with all the free time and not a lot of stuff to do in Winnipeg, they'd come up with a better own than Katy Perry. But
fuck, I mean, yeah, I don't want to rip on Winnipeg, but what is there to do in Winnipeg?
I mean, it's a real thing though. That team is good, really good.
Yeah.
And they're going to the playoffs. Okay, no doubt about it. Hellebuck's playing well enough that their forwards are going to be able to get them there. Their forwards are really good. They just have needed the goaltending. They finally got enough of a good mix. Blake Wheeler's a stud. Brian Little, Patrick Laine is one of the best probably a top 3 power play guy in the league right now.
Mark Scheifele.
Right? Yeah, Scheifele, obviously. But Line A on the power play is, oh my God, is he dynamite. He's
Forget about it.
He's like
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin.
Shot is incredible. Yeah.
He's like Ovechkin
really
2.0 because he's just a shark. He just sits there at the left circle and he swims and he swims and he swims. And all you got to do is put it on his tape and he's going to just absolutely bomb one at the net. And
misses, I feel like.
You think he's already got like 11 or 12 power play goals? I don't know. I think I'm right on that. He's somewhere around there. But yeah, Winnipeg, really good. But the problem with that market is they have to pay the free agents extra money to play there because, guys don't necessarily want – I'm sure it's a great place to, like, raise a family, though. It seems like a good spot for veterans to go.
I mean, isn't Jonathan Taves from Winnipeg? So it's not like totally off the map, obviously, but fuck, you never hear about anything going on in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, shit. We got to stop. I don't know where we're going with this.
All right. Should we just go to What the Puck?
Right.
What time are we at?
Yeah, we should.
We're at 15 minutes and 37 seconds. So What the Puck and wrap, you think?
Yep.
Dan, you lead us in.
Lead? Okay. What were we just
Just say now. He goes, just be like, boys, I think it's time.
Okay. That works.
Or shall we, boys, shall we?
Gentlemen,
shall we just do gentlemen? Shall we do our What the Pucks? And you can even lead us off if you want.
That sounds good. All right. Yeah, I guess I might as well take it. Kev, you ready?
What time are we at?
Oh, you need the time again. Yeah. We are at 51 minutes and 15 seconds.
All right, perfect.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, gentlemen. Well, I think we can get on to our What the Puck that we do every podcast. And I guess I'll kind of go first here. My What the Puck moment is going to be the Eric Johnson hit on Nemestikov. And for the folks that didn't see it,
This one is bad.
It's pretty violent. Luckily, he was okay. Nemestikov was okay. He actually played in tonight's game against the Knights. He got a goal. So fortunately, he's okay because this potentially could have been a hell of a lot worse than it was. But he finished a shot, and Eric Johnson thought it would be fun to cross-check him in the back right around the crease-ish area. And he basically went flying into the boards at speed. Luckily, was able to get his head and just kind of his body in a way so that he didn't go into the boards head first. If he was closer to the boards, he would have gone in head first 100%. And we might be looking at, a broken neck and possible spinal cord injury. That's how bad it was. So really, really lucky for Nemestikov. I'm glad he's okay. Really, really fucking stupid move by Johnson. And I think both you'll agree with me. It has no place in the game. It's just really unfortunate to see stuff like that still kind of pop up every now and then. So that is my What the Puck moment.
That's a good one. That was so stupid. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he's trying to hurt a guy there. He's just what? Can we stop? What's that?
Yeah, what? I don't know.
That's my fucking dishwasher. God damn it! I'll turn it off.
What's the time so I can restart my response?
Okay, the time is 53 minutes 15 seconds. Yeah, all of a sudden I was like, "There's beeping in the background somewhere," and it's not me.
Holy shit! I made $83 gambling on the NHL today.
It's fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
That's nuts. That's nuckin' futz.
All right, I think we're good now.
Kevin.
Yep.
I had $80 on my Bovada account on Thanksgiving, and now I sit at $478.
Fuck, dude. my account's been at zero for like 3 weeks now. I haven't gambled forever.
I started today at $395. I made $83 today just on hockey.
Christ,
that's
it's pretty good.
We should
talk gambling success at the end.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, we can.
That's all you gentlemen. because
All right,
I don't do it.
I'm gonna redo my response. What's the time right now?
Yep, 54 minutes, 18 seconds.
Okay.
You just gonna start over?
Yeah. I'm just gonna respond.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
just go into it,
All
Nick.
right. 3, 2, 1. Well, that's a good what the puck moment because that was really bad. It could have ended up a lot worse, like you said. Just a pretty overall reckless play. I don't know what cross-checking a guy in the back there is really going to do other than send a guy full speed into the boards. And he's just really lucky, Eric Johnson is, that Nemesnikov didn't go into the boards in too awkward of a position because that had like broken neck or broken femur, just some shit written all over it. That was that could have been like really, really bad. And it was amazing to see the guy get up from that. And he might come back in that game, but he played against Vegas in their last game. So Eric Johnson rightfully got a 2-game suspension for that. I don't think he's got much of a history on that, but Eric Johnson would know something about stupid angles because he tore his ACL getting his foot jammed in a golf cart accelerator. So good for Eric Johnson. But that was Jesus. That like hurt me to watch the replay. Like I woke up the next morning, like I don't always stay up for these West Coast games. I see the highlights, because you got responsibilities, but saw the highlight and couldn't believe the guy got up from it. So really glad Nemestikov's okay because that line of his with Stamkos and Kucherov is a huge reason why Tampa's leading the league in points right now, and they're the best line in hockey. So you'd hate to see the guy get hurt because he's young, he's talented, and Tampa Bay's really fun to watch. So hopefully Eric learns from that one because it's hard to watch. Even though it's bad when the guy is fine and you just cringe watching it still.
Yeah, it's incredible because, like you said, that's like 2 or 3 feet away from that being really bad and like broken back, broken neck, just a really ugly situation. And good on Peros for putting down the hammer, even though it wasn't much of a hammer. But anywho,
yeah, I was just thinking about that. Even though he might not have that big of a history, I feel like that one should just. Like, I know the standard right now is 2 games for your first offense, but that one, I don't know. I feel like you should just know as a player, regardless of what your history has or hasn't been. I just feel like that's one of those that's just you have to eliminate that immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. That's God. Jesus. I don't understand how you think that was a good idea. All you're going to do is send the guy into the boards. Yeah. And
yeah,
I just don't know what the upside was to what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't really going to change the play. Like Nemestikov got by him, was going to beat him to the puck on the corner. Yeah. So I don't really understand. Wasn't like yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I get you're pissed, but I don't know, be normal and break your stick over a post or just go back to the bench and, I don't know, scream out, fuck, don't cross-check a dude into the boards and potentially kill him, literally.
That game, by the way, was totally insane. If you guys followed that one, Tampa Bay at one point was up 5-2 in the third period, and they wound up only winning 6-5. McKinnon had an unbelievably filthy goal in that game.
That's
he
right.
walked like 3 guys.
Yeah.
I got big time cucked on the Tampa puck line in that game, but gambling's been going pretty well lately. I have to say, don't really like to toot my own horn, but we've had some good lines. Kevin and I have had some talks about possibly tweeting out some gambling picks. Picks are going really well. I think I've hit about 16 of my last 20 or so, a variety of individual team goal totals and money lines and puck lines and round robin, stuff like that. So we might wind up tweeting some stuff. I don't promise I'll be this hot forever, but it's been a good little run. But Tampa was one of those losses, and I thought I had it in the bag up 5-2, but fucking Budai really just had to shoot his pants. So
Yeah, I think I'm due. Like, the reason I'm also doing pretty well. I haven't lost any hockey bets in the last week or so, but that's only because my account has been dunzo because I finished the last month ice cold.
Oh,
Fuck. Anyways, what's your what the puck, Nick?
my what the puck. Oh, I got a good one. My what the puck is really because I don't really know what it is. It's kind of the story of why mine is the what the puck. So, as you guys all may know, for the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Okay, I cut that. That was horribly.
I was sitting here dying on mute. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
Can you sound clip that, Kevin, and put it in the group chat or something? Because that was absolutely hilarious.
I'll try.
I just realized I can't do stuff like that.
What time are we at?
I really wish you could. Oh, man. We're at an hour and 30 seconds.
So just make a note that you go, what's your what the puck, Nick, and then we'll have to restart it.
It's fucking stupid.
Pyeongchang.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Are we here? Everyone here? All right.
Yeah, ready.
I'm sorry. God damn it. Okay. All right. I'm going to restart it now. All right. 3, 2, 1. Well, Kevin, thank you for asking. My what the puck for this week is hockey jerseys, because there is a certain prototype for some threads that could possibly be worn at the 2018 Winter Games starting in South Korea in a couple months here in February. So with this whole Russian doping scandal that we briefly touched on with Chris Peters of ESPN in our last epi a couple of weeks ago, there was potential for Russia to be banned from the 2018 Winter Games. There is now a movement where Russian athletes are going to get to compete in the Olympics in a variety of sports, but they can't, have the Russian flag or have any kind of Russian branding on them. So obviously the Russian athletes, but they're not going to play like the Russian national anthem, and they're not going to have Russian teams and calling out Russian. I think you guys understand what I'm saying here. So to get to the punchline here, there's a actual Nike prototype. I don't know how real it is, but it's been going around on hockey Twitter. And there is this jersey that's out there, and it's literally just a white and red jersey, and it's got just a generic white silhouette of a guy skating with the puck, and it just says Olympic athlete from Russia. You couldn't catch me dead in one of those things. I wish I had the talent to participate in the Olympics. I probably would wear this jersey, but holy shit, it is awful. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
dude, I didn't even know if it was real. I saw that and I was like, there's no way they're gonna wear that.
They can't. It's so bad. Yeah.
That I don't want to be stereotypical or anything, but I feel like that's such a Russian thing to do. It's like, oh, maybe if we put
they have to compete
Olympic athlete from
they're
Russia,
calling them neutral
athletes.
athletes. They have to to compete as neutrals. Is what they're going to be called. So
nice
just be like the Newts or something. I don't know. Don't be Olympic athlete from Russia. I don't know.
Put on the old what is it? I'm not going to say it. Never mind.
Thought better of it?
Yeah, I'll censor myself. I'll have some self-control.
All right, John Tortorella, have some self-control over there.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I said something this time, so.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. If these guys come out here, an Olympic athlete from Russia, scripted jerseys, and a bunch of KHL guys don't come because of this, and obviously there's no NHL players, I think it's safe to say this is going to probably be one of the worst hockey Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I will still watch it.
Absolutely.
Still watch it.
No reason not to.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to go into it with zero expectations. Like, zero expectations. But, I mean, this whole thing now is just becoming a laughingstock. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, it kind of is, which is unfortunate.
Oh, and by the way, the rest of the jerseys don't look good.
Yeah, they have, like... They looked like the USA ones with like eagle wings or whatever. I thought that's
the feathers. Yeah, they look stupid.
Yeah.
How hard is it to make red,
good
white,
jerseys.
and blue? Just like there's like baby blue and stuff, and just stop. Just go with
Canada's looks stupid too. Theirs looks off. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is. I don't know. But
I feel for the Olympics, I feel like that's not the time to get like
fancy.
Really, yeah, exactly. Just go with what you know is good.
Yeah.
Well, it's brands trying to showcase how creative and shit they can be on a global scale.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like that's more suitable for like the World Cup of hockey, though, for like the newer thing.
Damn millennials with their jersey designs here. All right, Kevin, that's enough about the Olympic athletes from Russia that might play the sport of hockey on planet Earth. So, let's shoot it over to you for your what the puck.
Yeah, my what the puck. Just a little bit of a personal disappointment for me. One of my, one of the guys I like to watch in this league, the younger guys, is Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Last year, he came into the league after a electric tenure with the London Knights. He came and put up a damn good scoring pace in his rookie year, and then this year has been a total dud. He has 2 goals on the year. That is factual. I'm not lying. And then I think something...
Well, he got 3 today. He might be at 3 now. Is he at 3 now?
Oh, fuck. Wow. Well, 3 then.
I'm sorry to ruin your moment. Sorry.
Well, yeah. It's, 34 games, 35 games in the year, 3 goals. For a guy like Marner with the talent around him, it's disappointing. It also says, though, how fucking good that Toronto team is, though, because they're still sitting near the top of the Atlantic, and one of their more electric players, one of the better playmakers, isn't doing shit for them. So,
as well as Matthews being hurt the last few games, he's missed a.
Yes, his 5th game he missed tonight.
I've heard. I think they're 5-2 or 5-3. Maybe that was even before today's game against Carolina. Well, who didn't score in that Carolina game? They freaking won 8-1. But
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, they absolutely smoked them. They did a matinee game at 2:00 Eastern time. They were trying to get a bunch of kids at the arena, I guess, because apparently Canadian kids can't go to a 7 p.m. local start. I don't know. I went to games on weeknights as a kid. Maybe I'm just unique or some shit. But they tried to have a unique atmosphere. It was the 100th anniversary of their first game in Toronto as the arena. So they won 8-1, and everyone scored. And I think they've won 5 or 6 out of 8 or 9 games without Austin Matthews in the lineup, and Marner's not scoring. So props to the Maple Leafs becoming an all-around solid team. Props to sorry to Mike Commodore, but props to Mike Babcock there.
Yeah. He's a damn good coach.
Absolutely. Always has been.
Oh, man. Well, boys, do we have anything else you want to talk about? Thought maybe real quick we could talk about that Adam Henrique goal, the revenge against the New Jersey Devils before we go.
Oh, that was pretty.
It was a pretty sweet goal. Mm-hmm. Normally I don't talk about individual goals, but this one was special. It was probably awesome for him. First game back in New Jersey since the trade a few weeks ago, Sammy Vatanen for Adam Henrique. And Henrique's kind of exiting his defensive zone, gets, just outside his blue line, flips the puck over Sammy Vatanen, just throws an alley-oop right over him to himself, blows by Vatanen, and then makes a double, backhand, forehand move and goes backhand shelf on Corey Schneider, who's an elite goalie in this league. And it was just really pretty. I know it's bad radio. Can't really show you a highlight on a podcast, but you can find it pretty easily on the internet. It was a sensational goal and probably an awesome moment for him. He spent a lot of time there. in Jersey and was there for that cup run, and they're playing really well, and their forwards have been good, and they decided that they had enough forwards. Now, all of a sudden, New Jersey, of all people, thought, they had expendable forwards, and they upgraded their defense, and probably felt really good for him to beat a team that, and the guy that got traded for him.
Yeah, I mean, like if that's any two other players, that's still a pretty goal. But just all things considered, must be
poetic.
Like you said, yeah, poetic is a perfect word for that. Must feel pretty good for Enrique. Vatanen got fucked.
Yeah, that's our what the duck moment of the week. So, there you go. So, alrighty. Well, if we don't have anything else, I think that might be a wrap on this week's episode of GWTF. As always, joined by Kevin and Dan, awesome podcast partners. Boys, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
Good to get back.
As always.
We will
be back.
Probably drop an episode right after Christmas. So probably do that. That's Monday. So probably sometime right after that. Hopefully have a guest on. We've been in talks with a few gentlemen, few exciting guests. Hopefully one of them's ready to pop and come on this week. That'd be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with Chris Peters on our last episode. What'd you guys think of that again? That was really fun, and
super insightful. Or
he was great.
Yeah, it was awesome having him on. I really enjoyed just kind of listening to him. Ask a simple question, then him just talk and kind of explain everything. You don't get to hear that very often.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that can just talk for hours about like any given hockey topic. So that was a pretty damn good guest to have on. Not to toot our own horn, but
yeah, he was awesome. I mean, I hope we're able to have him on again or someone of his ilk soon. So that's kind of one of the barriers we're trying to hurdle over is, we like to shoot the shit, and we pretty much just talk like we're, on the couch having a few beers, watching the game when we talk on here. But we do enjoy having guests because they offer different, insights and perspectives, and maybe study the game from a different angle than we do, and stuff like that. I'm just like a gambling degenerate and a Blackhawks fan, and this guy's traveling all over watching prospects. So pretty much awesome to hear different perspectives and stuff. So guys, thanks again for joining me. If you guys want at home, it'd be awesome if you guys could rate and subscribe on iTunes and follow our Twitter at GWTF Podcast, at GWTF Podcast on Twitter. So we will see you guys next week, and we'll tweet out exactly when we're coming on. But peace.
All right, fellas. Catch you later.